From the townships that legends like him influenced the cultural, economic and political landscape of South Africa and various parts of the globe. He was a theatre extraordinaire, from director, producer, playwright, music composer and choreographer. By honouring the man who shaped a lot of artists and to coincide with the 55th anniversary when Gibson Kente produced his first play, Manana, the jazz prophet, Market Theatre has put together a musical to commemorate Kente's life and his works. Makhaola Ndebele, the director of the musical, joins us now in studio to share more on the production. Welcome back to Morning Love. It's great to see you.
It's great to be here.
Let's talk about Gibson Kente, the man, the artist, the extraordinaire that he was. I mean, there's so many adjectives you could use to describe the legend. What sort of impact did he have in your life, and when did you first become aware of him?
I first became aware of him in my high school days, and it was through an LP of How Long, and I was just listening to the music, and I later learned that it was part of a play. And my parents my mother grew up in Soweto, so in visiting my aunts, they would tell us about this theater person who lived in Dube. And then later when I went to do drama, it was then that I actually got to see the scope, or learn about the scope of the work that he did. And it's amazing that he did it in a time that it was so hard to do such work, but he was able to have such a great impact across South Africa, and able to groom people from so many different parts of South Africa. Many of the people we know in the arts today have been through his hands. So it's wonderful.
And so let's talk about the many hats that he wore. I mean, geez, he was a choreographer, producer, playwright, and he also had a big role in education as well. How will we see that play out in this production?
Well, we decided to concentrate mainly on the music. He came to Johannesburg from the Eastern Cape to come and be a social worker, but then he then ventured into show business and never looked back. But what is crucial about his early upbringing was his love for music. He started groups early in the Eastern Cape, and when he got to Johannesburg, he worked for Gallo and was a talent scout, and he got to work with your Letambulus, your Kaifas, your Huma Sekela, all of the greats at that time. And then it wasn't until 1962, after the production King Kong, that he decided to venture into the arts. So what we are trying to do is that you learn a little bit more about the man, but most of what we're honoring is his musical talent. So his strength in composing music, and his strength of putting plays together and telling stories about who we are as African people.
Now, let's talk about his legacy. What kind of legacy do you think he's left behind? And do you think, looking at the state of art theatre, would the state of our arts, particularly in theatre and music, make him proud?
I think so. I think there are many challenges, mainly because I think South Africa is a very politicized country, and we're yet to appreciate the other facets of our society. But in terms of the arts, I think Gibson Kente, one of his dreams was to see art centers all over the country. And we do have art centers, but it's how we utilize these amazing things that we have. So I think as South Africans, we have so much potential, and we have these institutions, but it's really up to us to see that they're utilized to the maximum benefit of ourselves and the rest of the country. So I think he would look at the arts today is that one thing we are not short of in South Africa is talent. I mean, I do auditions a lot, and I'm amazed at the kind of talent that we have musically, in terms of acting, dancing. The talent in South Africa is immense, but it's to organize that talent in order for it to create a bigger effect on South Africa and on the rest of the world.
Indeed, it's so important that you say that, because the likes of Gibson Kente were more than just musicians, they're also activists.
Yes.
Do we feel that we're losing that a little bit, or are we still the voice of the people, the voice of social ills through our artists?
I think material, wanting the need for material things has overcome a lot of things in our society today. I think there's still a lot of space for people to really drive and want to make the lives of others better. I think artists are very, there's lots of different reasons why people become artists, but what is important for me is that each artist must be able to express themselves and have a voice, so that we collectively as South Africans can say, this is the voice that is coming from the south of Africa.
Oh, thank you so much for making the time to chat to us about this awesome theatre production this morning. The Makhaola Theatre has put together a musical to commemorate Gibson Kente's life and works in the theatre industry and opportunities that he created. So make sure you go and see it. There is tons to be expected. For now, I'll hand you back over to Simpiwe, who is on the main desk.